Wow.
So when I showed that to the police, their response for me pushing back as far as getting to the bottom of I've seen enough shows to know you got to do this fast.
Right.
Y'all already done dragged this thing on. Y'all can wipe phones, get rid of stuff, come up with a new plan, come up with new versions of everything. You know, all the things that were allotted based on time. Time is not on our side.
Right.
But they simply said that, I said, well, why would she say that if this is her best friend?
So the police are basically providing a narrative or making excuses for this young lady.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, up to this point, what has the communication been like between you and the police?
So initially, the police and I were obviously on two different speeds. I understood that I needed to move fast because I thought my daughter was being trafficked, and I know that once you get them so far, you ain't getting them back. The police, the police, the mayor, the powers that be do not, I mean, they adamantly, if you go look at all of the times they get on TV, they adamantly reject trafficking. Now, last time I checked, trafficking is moving one person from one place to the other without their consent. Now, y'all saying there was drugs involved, the money involved, and all that. Well, that goes into that arena. But they want to make sure, which I'm not really understanding why they're. I will never understand why they would not want to incite that into people so that they can watch out for themselves.
There's a couple of interesting reasons why that could be. As you know, Atlanta is an entertainment capital. It's the music mecca, it's the film mecca of the Southeast and probably the country right now.
Sure.
So the word trafficking has such a connotation to it that can make investors, developers, people who are looking to do business in the city skittish. Pump the brakes. We don't necessarily want to go in a municipality where there's alleged trafficking going on. So I could see where a municipality might not want to put that up front in any investigation, whether warranted or not. I mean, that's just my hypothesis.
Understood, but I love to speak to that. Then that is a disgusting and grossly intentional, make me want to think you got something to do with it or your hands in the pot with it. The only way to eradicate something is to hit a hang on and admit that it exists. And that has been with every problem or injustice or crime, right? So you're real quick to try to put me, you commit a petty crime. Oh, we're tough on crime. He had weed, he this and that. Let's put him, this is a tough state. We're going to put him away for 20 years. There's people in jail now for a little dime bag, quarter bag of weed. It's a gross injustice then that you would say, hey, I know something's going on here. They know it because the nation knows it. And that you say, you know what, if we find out is this, we're not going to stop until we figure it out. And we're going to stop it right here. And we have all the volunteers and the community is saying, no, we won't do it. I could tell you what the community did with me because I never go nowhere alone. I have a plethora, hundreds of people who are willing, call me every day, send me notes, show up. I have people showing up in places to this day that people don't know they're showing up there for me and my daughter. They just there, just in case. So me as a mother could do that. How many mothers are suffering here in the state of Georgia
It's a lot.
that could do the same?
I've covered at least 30 stories, probably more, but 30 come top of mind, that have I'll just say no justice, unresolved cases that state go back 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's been part of my frustration as well. So all three individuals, Stephen, Deontay, and Nicholas, have all been captured and
Yes.
charged.
Yes.
There was something interesting you said about Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
He was found, I think it was around the 4th of July holiday
Yeah, the weekend.
weekend, right? At Lake Lanier or some lake,
Yeah, Lake Altoona.
Altoona. And there were 2 people on this water ski thing,
Correct.
right? And they were fleeing from the police.
Correct.
So if somebody was fleeing, obviously Stephen knew why he was fleeing. And then the other person that was with him
Right.
was fleeing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind,
You're
that
aiding.
constitutes aiding and abetting.
It does.
So what happened to the person that was accompanying him on that motorboat?
As far as I know, absolutely nothing. They did not go back to where Stephen's belongings were. They did not go back to that person, although they say they have information on that person. That person been hanging out with Stephen. That person potentially has information. Stephen's been gone since this happened. So potentially all this time that he's been hiding, he potentially could have been with that person, right? So you guys run off from the police, you find out this guy has a warrant, you focus on this guy and you let the other guy go. Or the group that they were with, potentially, because they were out having a good time on jet skis, right? Yes, another gross shenanigans with the police.
So needless to say, you're not extremely satisfied with Atlanta PD. Although you did tell me there is a difference. There is Atlanta PD and then there are the homicide detectives.
Correct.
Right?
That's a big difference.
Big difference.
I would say that the Atlanta PD got a lot of work. They were slow. They showed me time and time they did not care about her. They showed me for sure they didn't care about me to my face. They asked me in my time of need when I was crying and upset, hey lady, you don't have an appointment, gone. Call us for an appointment. I'm in tears. I'm distraught. I need help. So anything that could have came out of me that day would have been constituted, because if I go to the police for help and they don't help me and I took matters into my own hands, whose fault is that? Because you told me come back and make an appointment. That's what Atlanta Police Department does. They tell you go home and make an appointment. Now, there are people, Congress people, and there are aldermen and things like that that were very helpful. That were very, very helpful, and they helped me go through the chain of command. Like, listen, you wasting your time on these, go straight.
Here, right.
That's when you seen I went to the public safety meeting, and luckily for those people being there and the environment where I was in, it got the attention that I got laser sharp focus on the people I needed to deal with. And once that happened, then I want to say the detective that took over in homicide was very thorough. It was frustrating because it is a very slow and, they're very dry. But they have to be. I get the job you see all kind of crazy atrocities towards humans every day, so I can take my emotion out of it and understand it's a job for them. But once, my suggestion would be to really get involved with your local, politicians. They're really what can make a difference in anything in the city.
Absolutely.
Not the mayor, because let me tell you, I can't wait to go vote. It's sad that this man has accomplished nada. I will tell you this. All the aldermen that I reached out to reached back out. The governor of our state reached back out. Our Congress people wrote me a letter of condolences directly to me as a mother. The mayor, the city is a mess because our mayor is a mess. Did nothing. I know that for a fact. He knows because I tag him every day, just like APD knows. They're like, oh yeah, we get your tags every single day. So does the governor, so does the president, so does, to have somebody pour their heart out to you, consistently try to reach out to you, consistently try to, I know where he goes to church at. I have people who go to his church went to him and said, hey, this is going on. Do you know about it? Chirp, chirp, quiet, because he does not want to address anything that's worth anything in this city. And I stand on that. You can ask me about him. Trash. Because at least everybody else had the decency to say, hey, you know what, that's out of my jurisdiction. However, if there's anything, anywhere I can guide you or anything I can do, within my parameter, right? Everybody, this is a job, so, but you're over the police. The mayor of Atlanta is over them police. So if them police is jacked up, that's part of his problem that he refuses to address.
So here we are 2 years later, literally, and still no justice. Mm-hmm. But we do have a couple of trials coming up.
Yes.
Talk to us about them.
Well, I guess, all of it has been hard. Now it's going to be a different hard. Now I have to face all of the people who had something to do with my daughter's disappearance. I get to see them stall out the system. I get to see their attorneys with whatever banter they're going to come. I'm sure when they start talking about this baby, they're not going to care that she's not here anymore. Since she can't talk for herself, you're going to probably try to trash my baby. I highly suggest they don't go that route. I highly suggest they don't go that route, because if they think that I've been active before this, when they do that, that's going to make me eternally forever active to being a thorn on everybody's side for a long time. And I'm talking about everybody who got anything to say. Tori, the only thing I hold her responsible for, and I want to make this publicly clear, the only thing I hold that baby responsible for is for them words that you heard. Because I still love her.
That's very commendable of you. Because I'm going to tell you, what I heard, and I've heard it before, but to hear it clearly with the amount of sarcasm that's behind it, understanding the grief that you were going through, and for somebody to make a comment like that, I'm a forgiving person. That would be hard for me to let go and say what you just said.
Well, I don't want to be misunderstood or misquoted.
Right.
I ain't letting nothing go. But I understand in order for me to be who I am a positive person. Genuinely, that's why my daughter was who she was. Just full of life and good time and naive in many ways. Thinking you know people and you don't. Thinking you have friends and you don't. So the love that I speak of is everything that I've ever tried to do, especially as an adult. After I got it, I got a sense of who I am, is that what I offer is genuine. So I gave my daughter and her friends genuine love and care. And that doesn't change because somebody done wronged you.
Right.
One don't got nothing to do with the other. Right. It don't, if it's coming from a genuine space.
Right.
Now, if you did Whatever you did or you had any other part, we're going to speak to that on another part. But right now, I can't speak to what I wasn't there.
Right.
What I had prayed to God is one day she will come to me and actually happen to tell me what did occur. Because what she told me that night can't be true because you gave 30 different versions of it.
Are they all being tried together? Are they tried separately? And if so, do you know the dates?
They will all be tried together. They are fighting to, try to like
Be
be
separate.
severed.
Yeah.
Deontay and Nicholas had already tried that, especially when Stephen was still missing. But that had not been agreed to then while Stephen was missing, and now he's no longer missing, is he? So there would be no reason for the court system to break them up. But let me tell you something. It don't matter if you together, apart, it don't matter. You did what you did. You did what you did. And you won't get exactly what's coming to you.
So, has the district attorney's office been in contact with you as it relates to potential charges? What are the charges thus far?
I can share those charges with you. They are murder. They are murder charges. Nicholas has the lesser of the charge. He's charged with, I think it is disruption of an investigation, and he has several things, but one of them is moving and disposing of a body.
Mm-hmm. So, the working theory at this point is that she was murdered.
Yes.
Are you accepting that, or are you feeling still that there's a possibility that she's still with us?
Well, I'm a mom, right? So, and I'm also Christian. So, if there is anything that God could do, anything, then I can never say that I wouldn't want this all to be a horrible, horrible lie. But I'm going to say this. All of the evidence speak to something very heinous. And I also want to take you to this. Imagine if they took you, you're alive, from everything you love, and all your hopes and your dreams and your goals for your life, including getting married and having children and living a full life. I knew both my great-grandparents. My great-grandfather was born September 29, 1902. My grandmother was born in 1939, and she's still alive. So what I'm telling you is that my people live a long time. And I would not anticipate that that would not have been my daughter's journey, because we have family members that go into their hundreds, more than one of them. We know them and we've loved them and we've had to be able to spend time with them. That is the reality of my family. And so if you took somebody that's like that, that has that kind of history, right? We don't have any history of passing away early, 40s. We don't have that in our family. We've had tragedies and things like that happen, right? Car accidents, things. But our family tends to be healthy people who take care of themselves. And we don't do a whole lot of stuff that dictate bad health. Let's say that, okay? So speaking to that, imagine somebody like that being taken to another state. And they love their family and they care about their family, and all they ever have done speaks to that. This is true. And anybody that knows this baby knows that the reason why you're talking to me now is because there's so much chatter about her. You know why? Because there are a lot of people love her. And we're not going for it. We're not going to tolerate it. So by me telling you that, imagine if they're just put in a room, a dark room like this, put up, and they can't live their life. You might as well have murdered her, and that's where I'm at. It don't matter what happened to my baby. You trafficked her, she's in a room, you dismembered her, you chopped her up like she was nothing, you threw her in a bag, you threw her in the ground, you threw her away like trash. It doesn't matter. Those charges are grossly underrated because I do not have her. And even if you brought her back right here to me today, said, oh, we're sorry, here she is, she would not be her. She'd be a shattered, broken piece of a person. Just like me. There's nothing in this world that will ever repair me. Or my son. Or her grandmother. Or her great-grandmother. Or any of her grandparents. Or her father who doesn't have another daughter. Or any other child for that matter. So you have not just murdered her. You have murdered a piece of all of us. And every baby that goes not found and the same kind of path, we are allowing these murders to continue. And that is the minimum charge that you could give. Because you will have to, in order to give me back what you took from her, you would literally have to give me 102 years. And ain't nobody can, I mean literally, well-lived, happy, full of love, joy, and everything that God could give. So those charges, it don't matter what happened to her. They're not enough. Those charges don't mean anything to me. They make other people feel better. Oh, she's getting some justice. There they go. They're going to go to jail for life. You can't give me that back. You can't give me how we spent every day together, how when I come home, there's that emptiness. I don't have my road dog to talk about BS, the latest TikTok dance, and let's change our hair color, and oh, that's wild, and the absurdity and the crazy laughter that girl put in my house and in my heart.
I've said this on every story that I cover like this, that people don't care until it happens to them, right? Then all of a sudden they want empathy and sympathy and all the things that everybody else who has this god-awful thing happen. That's what they would want. And people need to identify with that pain. As I sit here and listen to you, I'm thinking about my own daughter. And one of the reasons why it's important for me, not only as a television person, right, but as a father, a black father, because that matters too, that has a daughter. And what would I do if this happened to my child? How would I react? It would be my life's mission to find answers. And when I heard about this story, I said to myself, we have to get involved on a different level. I've seen the politics of Atlanta, of Georgia. I've seen the inactiveness of the police department, and I got 30 or so other stories to prove it, so I'm not beating up on them. It just is what it is. And it's going to take the public to solve this case, because this will go from a missing case to a cold case in an instant, because there's so much of this happening that they have another case tonight, unfortunately, they're going to have to deal with.
A couple.
And then another one going to be tomorrow night. And so these cases get pushed to the side because they're trying to cover each case that they have coming in. And they don't have the staff to deal with all of this. So it takes the public somebody knows something.
Yes, they
Somebody saw something.
did. Yes, they did.
And if you did, you need to call Crime Stoppers. And in fact, I suggest, and we've had this conversation
Yes.
before, that you call her.
Yes.
Her number is public. She puts it out there, and I'm telling you that this woman is on it. One of the reasons why we're here today is because I saw her passion. And I've seen other mothers, but they've handled it different in other past cases. You're on it to the degree where they feel uncomfortable when you come around. And I'm just being real. You know it. I don't have to tell you. But it's understandable. It's understandable.
There are some things when you see somebody getting got that you just can't talk. You can't stand for that. You can't stand to see somebody just getting got, getting beat up, getting raped, getting shot, and you don't do nothing. The least is make an anonymous phone call is all I was asking for. As a matter of fact, I asked Steven to just make listen, I don't even care. Tell me what my baby is. You buried her? Anonymous phone number. We go find her. Baby, I would have been back to minding my business. Grieving, whatever, and I would have handled whatever I had to handle without them police. That's facts. There's nothing to talk about no more. But I can't even get that. You refuse to even give me that. That you literally could have gotten away with it. When this initially happened, if my baby OD'd, which is what they gonna try to say, she OD'd, everybody in Georgia, especially a criminal, people who've been to jail, know that you're not gonna get in trouble. They can't even ask you nothing. If you take them to the doctor, they can't ask you nothing. If you call somebody OD in your house and you have them come, they can't ask you nothing but say thank you and move on. And they gonna tell their family, well, ain't nothing we could do. At least they got to the hospital. You could do. You know how many times that happens? A lot. And they specifically made that law so these kind of things wouldn't happen. So now, even after you did the act, the police just ask you, go ahead and just tell us where it's at. Call the 800 number. Call the, and if we find her, and it's what you say it is, an OD, you know why they didn't give my baby to me? If she is in the ground? Because it's more to the ugly story. You did something to her that you didn't want the police to see, that you wouldn't be able to explain. That's what I live, the real reality of what I live. You did something really, really bad to her that not even in her death do you want us to see it. You're willing to risky business going in front of a trial. Especially with me talking, because there ain't no way it's going to be any kind of trial and I'm not going to be talking every day. That's why you said I make them feel uncomfortable. Now, I'm not going to go off the deep end and hurt people intentionally, like the police, because I want to say this in the ending, I do respect the job that they have to do. Their lack of care has impeded the way they serve us. It is a gross negligence at this point. And that's not just in Atlanta. That's all the police, because don't nobody even want to be the police no more.
Right. It is a thankless job.
Mm-hmm.
And as you say, I know a lot of police chiefs.
And I know some good ones.
Yeah.
Lots of good ones.
Yeah. And they are out there. But there are those who are not.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Your story is very impactful on a lot of different levels. One, because there's no resolution. If there is in fact a death, right now you have no proof of that. If this is a trafficking, right now you have no proof of that. Most people get quote unquote closure when there is a factual body. And I hate to say it that way, but one of the things we said is we was going to have a completely real conversation,
Mm-hmm.
which we have had.
Mm-hmm.
There is nobody for you to look at and truly say, my daughter, she's there, and you grieve, you cry, and like you said, you move on.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing goes on and on and on and on and on. And that is where it makes it so impactful for your life. You can't possibly get closure. Even if you...
I can't even grieve.
That's
I am not grieving yet.
right.
I'm still in fight mode.
Right.
Fighting to find her.
Right. Right.
I can't even grieve. People are like, oh, you've been grieving. No, no, no. You can visit me in the insane asylum when that has to happen.
Right.
Not right now.
Right. Right. It's tough to be in this position, and I'm hoping that this video helps you find your daughter,
Yes.
because there's somebody that saw something, knows something. This is not one of those scenarios where you're snitching on somebody. You don't have to mention a name. You don't have to mention nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that because I've had numerous conversations. She doesn't even care about any of that.
I don't.
All she wants to know is the location on where her child is, dead or alive. And that's just real talk. This is just unacceptable in a civilized society, with all of the surveillance that we see.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll end it on this. The apartment complex needs to be pressed, because there has to be video somewhere. If there's two people that walk in a building and one person walks out and the other person is not inside that apartment,
Yeah.
then they left some kind of way.
Yeah.
Where is that footage?
And they may have something to do with it. It's been found that motels and different business owners are in on all the shenanigans. I do know that somebody has a current pending lawsuit against them. I just don't have the energy. I don't really feel comfortable with such dealings when it comes to my daughter, because it's not that.
Right.
It's not that. Let me tell you something. If this baby showed up, when I tell you, be like, whatever happened to that girl? We remember we did them stories. We ain't here. We can't even find her on the internet. Ghost. I will be gone. Poof.
Right.
Off the grid, on the farm, with my family, aging, like my great-grandparents did, trying to get that baby home and take all the life that they've taken away from her.
This is for any of you watching this and you don't feel what the words that are coming out of this mouth, and you're not going to see this anywhere else. And not that I'm pushing that, but that's the platform and the relationship that we created with her. And all I'll say is, if you know something, say something. And we'll just end it on that. Thanks for watching. Man, this is terrible. All right, I'm gonna do an opening and